Hold on. She name dropped you, OG, and now it's a fact right now. OMG.
We also recognize that there's another person who's running for Ward 8 school board. That's the Joy Johnson Law. We also recognize that the chair of the Black Democrats, Black DC Democrats, Ms. Madison here.
All right. Hopefully, well, first of all, good afternoon, everyone. I hope that you had a chance to hear that. If you didn't, we're going to post it so people will be able to hear it a little bit later. But let's go ahead and get started with today's meeting. So, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Troy Dante Presswood, president of the Ward 8 Democrats. I'm officially calling our October 2024 meeting to order. I want to thank all of our Ward 8 family and friends and community members joining us here online for this virtual Get Out the Vote event. We encourage you to spread the word, invite your neighbors to join us here on Zoom and to engage with us on social media. They can like, share, and follow us at Ward 8 Dems across all social platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Or I guess they call it X now. And of course, we ask you to use the hashtags Ward 8 Dems or Ward 8 Votes so people can follow the conversation. Now, what I want to just tell you very quickly about our last meeting, if in case you missed it. We recently hosted a State of the Ward 8 Education Town Hall here at the Ward 8 Democrats back on September 21st. Dr. Carleen Reed, Dr. Jacques Patterson, along with our student board member, Khalik Barnes from Thurgood Marshall Academy. They joined us to discuss some very important topics, such as school closures and student engagement. We talked about, for example, what's happening or what happened rather with Eagle Academy. We also discussed the importance of transparency and youth engagement in decision making. We also talked about some opportunities for dual enrollment, especially with UDC and other universities in our area. And we think that would give our young people a better opportunity to, not just get a high school diploma, but to be prepared even further and faster than just coming out of high school. So we talked about that ad nauseum, and I think it could be something that we could see and more of an emphasis on. It's already happening, but can we do more? That's the question, and we think so. And then we also talked about what happened with our council member and his arrest, which happened in August, but of course we were off in August, and we talked about it in September. And so if you miss any of that, we certainly advise you to go and check out our YouTube page or check out our Facebook page where you can look at last month's meeting. Actually, the Facebook page, I think we have over 2,000 views on that. So go check that out if you haven't seen it already. It was very, very enlightening. I had an image up a moment ago, but let me pull it back up again. And this is it here. So this is just some of the images from, I showed the video earlier from our VP watch party, but these are some of the images from our presidential watch party as well. We gathered over at Busboys and Poets, had a really, really good time. And so just want you to know that we are active, we are in the community, we are engaging with as many people as we can leading up until Election Day, November 5th. And in fact, I want to let you know that we have an election night watch party already planned. That's going to be on Tuesday, November 5th from 7 to 11. It's going to be at the Anacostia Busboys and Poets, which has been our headquarters for the past month. We want to thank the team there, thank Andy Shalal for opening up the space to lots of different voices, including our own. But we will be there on the 5th, and so come through. They'll have some drink specials, some food. I don't think they want to have any food specials, but certainly some happy hour specials that they probably will extend. And then you get to come and be among other Ward 8 Washingtonians as we look at the returns from that night. Just to level set, I fully expect that we'll know our local races and the local outcome of Initiative 83, for example, before we know what will happen nationally. That's going to probably take, to be very honest with you, a couple of days. We will not know on election night what will happen with our national ticket. But some of our local races, we should know. Even what's happening over in Maryland, we might even know by election night as well. So come hang out with us. And that's going to be on November 5th over at the Busboys and Poets. Okay. Let's see what else. I want to make sure my treasurer is here. Here we go. Move him to panelist. So that we can do a little bit of Ward 8 Democrats business before we get on with the rest of our meeting. And so I want to call up our treasurer, Daryl Ross. Daryl, are you with me?
Yep, I'm with you.
Okay, great. So I'm going to pull up our treasurer's report. And Daryl, you can take it away.
All right. This is the September 2024 Treasurer's Report for the Ward 8 Democrats. We opened up with a balance of on September 1st of $18,445.83. We had revenue for the month of $65. We had expenses for the month of $2.58. So the excess of the revenue over the expenses was $62.42. We ended the month with a balance of $18,508.25. At this time, if anybody has any questions with the report that they see, you can, I guess, use the Q&A or raise your hand or go to the chat.
It would give people just a moment to use the Q&A feature in the chat if there's any questions about our treasurer's report. Let's see. All right. I am not seeing any questions or anything coming into the Q&A. Mr. Treasurer. So let's go ahead and move it.
All right, I move that we accept the Treasurer's Report for September 2024 for the Ward 8 Democrats, subject to audit.
So moved. It's been moved. Is there a second? I see there is a question. Jamila White. Jamila White going once.
She'll have to unmute herself.
Oh, it's
Well,
not a
yeah.
question about the vote. It's for you, Troy.
Oh, okay. I got your earlier question. Sorry. Okay. I got it. All right. Thank you. Okay. Mr. Treasurer, I think we are good to vote on this. So all those in favor, vote aye. You can also use the Q&A to vote aye as well. Aye. And see any abstentions? All right. Any nays? Okay. So it is the opinion of the chair that the motion to approve our budget pending audit is hereby passed. Thank you, Mr. Treasurer. I would be remiss if I did not also mention that the where did it go? We have here it is. Okay. I always like to ensure that we are reminded that we actually rely on funding from our friends at the Ward 8 Democrats. And so Daryl would certainly want me to let you know that you can make a donation to the Ward 8 Democrats. You can just scan that QR code right there. That takes you right to our Act Blue page. And you can make any size donation, $5, $10, $25, $100, $500, whatever feels good for you and for your budget. We turn those dollars back into the community. We help to sponsor events in the community. We also help to, really help to fund the organization because we are completely member powered. So certainly want to let you know that you can scan a QR code, or you can just go to our website at ward8dems.com, click on the donate button, and you'll be taken again to our donate page at Act Blue. All right. Well, it is election season. And we do want you to know that as the November 5th election is in full swing, we do want to help residents create a plan to vote. And we also want you to share your stories online with us. You can tag us again at those hashtags I mentioned earlier, but I'll tell you once again, which is Ward 8 Dems or Ward 8 Votes. But here's what you need to know in terms of election day this year. November 5th is now the final day to vote, but drop boxes across the District of Columbia, including these locations on your screen, are open right now. And they're going to be open 24 hours a day up until November 5th at 8 o'clock. So again, take advantage of the opportunity to vote early right now. Everyone who was registered by a certain date has received their mail-in ballot. So you can take your mail-in ballot to any of these drop-off locations and you can set it and forget it, essentially. You can also take it to the U.S. mail, either to the post office or a mailbox. I always say in Ward 8, our mail isn't always the best, but a lot of people are using the U.S. mail, and as quiet as it's kept, they have actually delivered. So use this early opportunity to just get and lock in your vote so that way you're good to go. Again, 55 drop boxes across the district, including these right here on your screen. These are located here in Ward 8. You can use any drop box in the city, but these are the ones in Ward 8. And by the way, if you're going to use the drop box or the mailbox, I would suggest you sign up for the voting tracking, rather the ballot tracking feature. That way you can track your ballot from when they pick it up. You can track it on election night when they actually, when it's tabulated. They don't know who you voted for, but they do know, they do scan a code to let you know they've touched it, either received it in advance. So for example, if you drop it off in a drop box, you'll get a scan. They will scan it to say it's been picked up, and you'll know that. So that way you know that you can count on the U.S. Mail or the DC Department, DC Board of Education. Let's say Board of Education, DC Board of Elections. Okay. And then the other thing here I want to let you know is that we have another location here. These are your early vote centers. They will open up on Monday, October 28th, and they'll be open up for really 6 days, closing on Sunday, November 3rd. Their hours of operation, 8:30 a.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. So the early vote centers, if you don't quite trust that you're filling out your ballot correctly, or if you need just someone to make sure every flap and everything is closed, you can take it into a drop center rather take it into a vote center, early vote center, and they will help you complete that, or at least answer your questions. They won't necessarily help you complete it, but they will answer your questions. And you can then, of course, drop off your mail-in ballot at a drop center, at a vote center as well. They have a drop location at each of these vote centers that you can do that. Or you can say, hey, I just want to vote the old-fashioned way, but I want to do it early. Again, you can do that at the early vote centers as well. And then finally, you can also you can register to vote if you haven't already done so. You can do that at the early vote centers. And again, they open up on Monday, October 28th. And then, like I said before, the final day to vote is Tuesday, November 5th. But by this time, I know Ward 8 will already have their vote in, because you're going to use drop boxes, you're going to use the mail, you're going to use the early vote centers. And so on election day, you're just going to sit back and see the returns come in. But I always tell people, you know, another reason why it's important, especially because the District of Columbia offers this opportunity. A lot of states don't. More are, but not as many as you think. And so you never know what may happen on election day. You may get sick. You may have a child that has an emergency. You may have to work late. You never know. This way, you don't have to worry when you get your vote already in, either during the early vote period, take it to an early vote center, or take it to a drop box location. So, but just in case you're still old school, as I sometimes am, the last day to vote is on Tuesday, November 5th, and it will be from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. These are the vote centers here in our ward. You can vote at any vote center across the district. Let's say you're working downtown, it's a close vote center to you there. You can go there. They would give you your ballot for your community. So these are the vote centers for the last day to vote on November 5th. Screenshot them if you must. The ballot for Ward 8, it looks like this. Essentially, on one side, this is if you are a U.S. citizen. On one side, you have the federal and the District of Columbia races. And of course, we're asking you to vote for the Democrat, both on the federal and the D.C. races. And then on the you got to flip it to the other side, because it's a two-sided ballot. On the other side, there will have your ANC commissioners, which we'll talk about that today. And then Initiative 83 is also on the back. Now, the DC Democratic Party has taken a very strong stance against Initiative 83. Initiative 83, if you don't know, it introduces ranked choice voting and semi-closed primaries, allowing non-Democratic voters to participate in selecting Democratic candidates. You know, while we believe in electoral reform, we believe that this initiative, though, complicates the voting process, and it undermines the foundation of our party's values. And we think it's going to also cause confusion at the polls, especially for our seniors. So what we're asking voters in Ward 8, but also across the District of Columbia to do, is to vote no on Initiative 83. We believe that this will help us safeguard the future of our party. And we ask you to share this with your family, your friends, and your neighbors. Again, the DC Democratic Party is against this Initiative 83, and we're asking you to vote no on it. Now, here's who we want you to vote yes for. We do have a presidential ticket. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are on that ticket. We want you to vote yes for them. Eleanor Holmes Norton is running for delegate to Congress. We want you to vote yes for her. Trayon White is running for Ward 8 Council. We want you to vote yes for him. Robert White is running for council member at large. We want you to vote yes for him. Ankit Jan is running for U.S. Senate. We want you to vote yes for him. Oye Awolowo is running for U.S. Representative. We want you to vote yes for him. So we want you to vote for the whole Democratic ticket. And if you need to screenshot this so that when you're looking at your ballot or when you go into the voting location, you can take a look at that and make sure that you vote yes for these candidates, but no on Initiative 83. I should note that I know we're going to have some commissioner candidates on here, and we don't purport that all of them share our views on Initiative 83, but these are our views as a Democratic Party, that we are not in support of it. We certainly know that others have different beliefs and know that you will exercise that at the polls. But hopefully I've said something to you today that demonstrates why we just think this is just a bad deal for the district and for voters. A number of my team is actually in Pennsylvania. We got on buses early this morning. We're headed up to Pennsylvania. We're already there in many places, knocking on doors, talking to voters, and we are making sure that we're going beyond just the District of Columbia, right? That we can do some work over in other swing states. And Pennsylvania is perhaps one of the most swingiest of states. So we have teamed up with our friends over at the Ward 7 Democrats, as well as DFER, to sponsor some bus trips. And I should also note that the Harris campaign is a big sponsor of this as well, to go up into Pennsylvania and talk to neighbors and friends up there. So if you are interested in getting on the bus with us, we do have some links. Hopefully you got our newsletter where you can sign up for those. The next bus trip is tomorrow, and then we'll have them next week and the week after that. The last week would be the weekend before Election Day, that we're going to be going up to Pennsylvania, to different parts of Pennsylvania. So it may not be the area outside of Philadelphia or the area outside of Pittsburgh. It might be York. I think today I heard a note that a bus went to York, another bus went to Harrisburg. So it's Pennsylvania. And we leave early in the morning, 7 o'clock, and we get back by 6. So if you are interested, and I know Ward 8 is, then we want you to sign up. So if you have not gotten the information from our newsletter, go to our website, ward8dems.com, scroll down a bit, you should see this banner, and you should also see information on how you can sign up to vote. You can even go every weekend if you like. But the next bus trip is tomorrow. We do have some buses that will leave from the Giant over for Alabama Avenue. We work very hard to make sure that we bought a bus and make it more closer for residents here in Ward 8. So sign up for that. If you can't do it this weekend, there's always next weekend, and then the final weekend, November 3rd and 2nd and 3rd. That's the last weekend that we're going to be going up, and I'll actually be on that trip as well. So come on out and get involved with us. And then just in case you didn't know, we have an election right next door to us in what we affectionately call Ward 9. They are trying to elect their first Black woman senator from the state of Maryland. Also Brooks, we know her. She grew up in D.C., went to D.C. public schools. Her family moved out to the county, and she's made a name for herself out there as county executive. Now she's running for Senate, and she is up against a formidable candidate in the former governor, Larry Hogan, popular Republican governor of the state of Maryland, 2 times elected. And so it's not going to be a cakewalk for her. Polls show that she's leading, but you cannot trust the polls at this very last, juncture in the race. So if you want to help out, and I know that there's a lot of Ward 8 residents who do, you can go and be a part of the county executive campaign. They have locations in Silver Spring and the one in Upper Marlboro. I don't know why they call it Upper Marlboro. It's really Largo, but who am I to tell those folks in Maryland what to call their neighborhoods? I just know it used to be called Largo. But her campaign office is right over there. This is me out there knocking on doors and helping to put signs up as well. And so if you're interested in that, again, that information should be on the ward8dems.com website. It's also went out in our newsletter this morning. There's a way that you can be active, not just here in DC, but in these key races. Maryland happens to have a very key important race going on with the Senate. And then, of course, Pennsylvania is our adopted state for the party. I think there was one other thing I wanted to show y'all. All right. This website here, Ward 8 Votes, is now active. All the information I mentioned to you is on that website. It's ward8dems.com/Ward 8 Votes. You can also go straight there by scanning that QR code. It takes you straight to that website as well. You can certainly go there. You can pull up the ballot. You can pull up those screenshots of all of the voting locations. You can get all of that information on that website. It's our special election coverage website for everything how to vote, because we want you to be successful in this November 5th general election. Okay, I think I got all of that in. And the last thing I should always remind you of is that there's always a place for you here at the Ward 8 Democrats. You can join one of our incredible committees, programming, issues and legislative affairs, seniors, membership, public relations, fundraising, youth engagement, special events, canvassers, or just become a volunteer. A number of you are, and of course, we encourage you to continue to be active with us. If you are interested in any of these roles, screenshot this and then send us an email with your resume or your bio to that email below, info@ward8dems.com. Again, that's info@ward8dems.com, or reach out to us any way that you can. We will certainly find a way to use your talents and your skills here at the Ward 8 Democrats. All right, I think I have gotten through everything here. I want to just pause for a second to ensure. There were some questions that came in from people, and I wanted to make sure we address those before we move to our next part of the program. Do want to elevate Councilman White. Okay. All right. There was some questions that came in early, and I want to just take this opportunity to address them. Looking for them now. All right, let's see. All right, so one of the questions that came in was why do people believe that Proposition 83, or really it's Initiative 83, is harmful for Black voters? I don't frame that conversation in a race based on race, although certainly you could point to what's happened, for example, in Ward 7 and Ward 8, where in the at-large race for council, where you have two choices. You don't have just one choice, you have two. We often see a precipitous drop in voters selecting the second candidate for at-large council. And those wards just so happen to be overwhelmingly Black. We also see that in Ward 5 as well. And so it's not that we frame it in a race construct, but we certainly can look at that if Black voters who make up the majority of at least Ward 7 and 8 and a good portion of Ward 5 are not using the second option, which we have had since home rule, then how is this going to play out with having 5 options or up to 5 options? We are just seriously concerned about that. And we want to let folks know that we just don't think this is the right initiative, the right technique to bring to the District of Columbia right now. If the proponents of this would do much more of an education program, much more teaching, much more, really showing how it's done and pointing to a lot of examples and giving people hands-on experience with it, it would get better. We believe it will get better. It's not that we are opposed to it just to be opposed to it. We just see some structural inequities here that brings us pause. And so, again, not to frame it in a racial construct, but we do see that there is an impact that could be a potential big impact, especially in these Black wards, these areas with a majority Black population. So thank you for the question. Let's see here. It's a question here about should you write in a candidate? So there's a question here about the legal situation concerning our council member, and should you vote for him to hold that space for a special election, or should I write in a candidate or simply leave blank to risk a Republican candidate winning? Great question. So we said this last month at our September meeting. If you haven't seen it, I certainly invite you to go back and take a look at that video. It is on YouTube, it's on Facebook, really big numbers on Facebook. But what I would tell you is that we are supporting the Democrats up and down the ballot. That includes Kamala Harris all the way down to our council member, Trayon White. The council member has acknowledged that he has a court case that is pending. That will go forth. And at the appropriate time when that happens, then if there is an outcome of that which creates a vacancy in that role, then we will move forward with trying to fill that seat. But for now, he is our Democratic nominee. He has very strongly indicated that he will be in this race. You already know that his name is on the ballot. And what we as Ward 8 Democrats don't want to do is to provide an opening for the Republican to win. I have Republican friends. I know some good Republicans, but this person who's running is not one of those people. So, and then as a Ward 8 Democratic Party, we wouldn't even want the Republican to win anyway. So no, we are very much, we support all of our Democratic nominees. We showed you an image of them earlier, and we encourage you to vote for all of them now. There's another question around have we endorsed our Councilmember Trayon White? The answer is yes. If ranked choice voting, which is part of Initiative 83, if that's passed, when will it take effect? Good question. So if it passes, I think there is a period of time that the Board of Elections has to implement that in time for the next general election, which will be in 2026. However, because it is an initiative that requires funding, it's not a zero budget impact. It has to be funded by the council and approved by the mayor. There are a lot of budget pressures, as you know. The city is not bringing in the type of tax revenue that they did before. They certainly bring in a lot more ticket revenue. That's a different question. But because it is a budget issue, the council has to decide how and when to fund it. So if it is approved, it has to be funded, and the council will then, and the mayor will make that decision. So it's supposed to go into effect in 26. Will it? That's the question. Of course, we don't want it to pass in the first place. Is there a plan for getting seniors to the polls on election day? Again, our plan is for them to vote with their mail-in ballot. They don't even have to leave the door. They can just vote right now with their mail-in ballots, and you can even give it to your postal carrier. You can say, hey, Miss Mail Lady, hey, Mr. Mailman, here's my ballot. You can literally give it to your postal carrier and tell them to send it in. I can't think of something more convenient than to have the ballot delivered to you and to have it picked up from you by your carrier, your mail carrier. So let's use that. Let's get into the habit of let's build this muscle memory of using that mail-in ballot and giving it to the carrier there, especially for those who may be seniors or those who may have mobility challenges. They don't even have to leave the door. Maybe there's a mailbox down the street from you. Of course, you can use that as well. Or maybe you can give it to someone who can go and drop it off for you, either at one of those drop boxes, or perhaps as you're out and about, you can drop it off in a drop box at your convenience. I will say, don't forget to sign the back of your ballot, the back of the envelope. Don't forget to do that. Very important. Have we been successful registering new voters, especially first-time young voters? Yes, I would say the Harris campaign actually has been very good for us here in the district in terms of getting new young people registered to vote. But I will tell you this, we don't really have a voter registration issue in Ward 8 or really in the district. We have a voter turnout issue, and that's a number of reasons, right? Why that happens. So that's why I want to get us into this mode of doing early voting. Again, we're one of the few jurisdictions that offer this in such a robust way. let's use it. Let's not give them a reason to take it away. And say, well, you're not using it. Might as well go just to that one day, one day a month, one day a season voting. We should use it. So let's do that. Let's do that. But yes, the Harris campaign has been very good in terms of getting new voters registered. What does the at-large member of the State Board of Education do? So he is a representative. So the at-large member on the State Board of Education, which happens to be a Ward 8 resident, which we're happy about, is the voice of the district. I mean, so the state board has almost like our council. We have a representative from each ward, and then we have an at-large member as well. And that at-large member sort of takes a view of what's happening across the city and helping to implement or develop policy proposals for our education. I should note that the Board of Education, our State Board of Education, is an advisory role, but they do incredible work. So if you're not watching any of those hearings, I certainly advise you to do that, because you'll be pleasantly surprised by the work that they're doing. They do serious work at the State Board of Education level. All right, and I think that's pretty much it. So I'm going to stop there with all the questions. Thank you for your wonderful questions. Let me see if there's any other questions from folks here. There's a question about how many people are in attendance and why aren't they showing? We don't show that information. Thanks for the question, though. Why is Nate not a good Republican? Again, this is a Ward 8 Democratic Party. And I will say there's a lot of activity going on in our ward, in our city today. The big participation we see from these forums is actually afterwards. Like I said, our town hall meeting that we had on education back in September, really big numbers on Facebook. Go and check that out as well. Okay, now I am going to move to a couple things. One, I think we have, is it Oye? Okay, I don't see him. I thought you saw him earlier. See if I can get. Okay, Representative Oye is trying to connect, so we're just trying to get him in. Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started with our ANC discussion. So I hope that I said something that helped you to understand where we are as far as all the ways you can get involved in the political process. Again, check out our website, ward8.com/Ward8Dems, ward8dems.com/Ward8Votes. Let me just say it one more time, ward8dems.com/Ward8Votes. You will see all of the information that I talked about, all the ways to get engaged, get involved in the political process here in our ward. All right, with that being said, I want to go ahead and actually start to introduce us to some of our ANC commissioner candidates who are running for office here in Ward 8. Let me first just give you a little bit of information about ANCs. They are nonpartisan, and so I know that is that's an interesting juxtaposition with the Ward 8 Democrats. But we feel that because our neighborhoods were redistricted just 2 years ago, people are still trying to figure out who their ANC is, what SMD they're in. And so we believe that engaging with ANCs who want to engage with us, we're down with that. So we've certainly reached out to them, and a number of them have responded. And so we're going to hear from them in just a second. But again, they are nonpartisan, community-led bodies designed to bring government closer to the people. Each commissioner represents a single member district. Oh, don't I know that so well? Which consists of about 2,000 residents. Ward 8 currently has 5 ANCs exclusively serving our area. with one additional ANC, which is called 6/7F, covering parts of covering parts of Navy Yard, rather. And so that brings us to 6 ANCs in total, but that sixth one is a shared ANC. The goal of these commissions is to foster community-led discussion making and to ensure that your voices, our voices, are heard. Now, several ANC candidates are here with us today. Each will have a minute to introduce themselves and to share their vision for their SMD and for our ward. And so the first person whom I want to ask to speak first is Tom Donahue. Tom, welcome to the Ward 8 Democrats. Tell us the ANC that you're representing or that you are running to represent, and tell us also, give us a sense of that community, but then also give us your spiel. You're muted.
Sorry about that. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, go right ahead.
Sorry about that. Again, my name is Tom Donahue. I'm running for ANC Commissioner for 8A01, and that encompasses the Fair Lawn down to 17th and R up to Minnesota and back down to right up to basically, I can't think of the street off the top of my head. Nicholson, thank you. Nicholson Street. My remarks are going to be a little bit long. I apologize. Hopefully you'll allow it to continue.
Just to be clear, you have a minute.
Okay. My name is Tom Donahue. I'm a candidate for ANC 801. I'm a member of the Fair Lawn Citizens Association, and I've lived in Fair Lawn for 11 years. The current slate of commissioners have joined together to do whatever they can to see writing candidate Ms. Moore win this election. This means apparently by any means. The more I walk in my single member district, the more I'm hearing of the lies being told about me. This continues the narrative that was recently written in the Washington Informer when Mr. Collins wrote, "In recent years, Mr. Donahue has garnered a reputation for surveilling Black youth and posting their pictures on the Ward 8 Facebook page." I'm not entirely sure where Mr. Collins got this information from, but clearly he missed the part that 4 years ago I posted video at the family's request of Mr. David Farewell being murdered when he was ran over by Mr. Beasley. A video that played a major role in Mr. Beasley accepting a plea deal to the murder of Mr. Farewell, or maybe the time when I shared video of one of the 9 armed robberies that were happening in Fair Lawn last year, of which I was one of them. But here's the kicker. Mr. Collins didn't mention that the Board of Elections has sent 2 letters to this commission directing Jamila White, informing the commission that the law requires them to host a special meeting regarding the residency of Commissioner Holly Muhammad, who is using the second address of the fellow ANC Commissioner Barbara Clark as her own in order to run for the 2022 election and remain as commissioner through this year. Our commission has refused to acknowledge these letters and even deleted the URLs posted during meetings to prevent us public from knowing. I've also sent 2 letters to the chair of this group. Both letters went unanswered.
Last time, Tom.
When I asked him to encourage.
Thank you so much. We have to move on. Thank you. Next up on my list here is Freya Moore. Freya Moore.
Hi, hello everyone.
Hello. Tell us the community that you're running to represent. Give us a sense of where that is, and then you have 1 minute.
Okay. First, I want to thank you for having me and sharing this platform. It's a very informative session, and that is very important when you are making an important decision like voting. I am running. My name is Freya Moore. I am running for ANC 804 and Advisory Neighborhood Commissioner. And I also am running on an all-woman slate. And my particular small member district comes down 16th Street to W Street, Morris Road, Pitts Place, Fort Stand Rec, around Anacostia Museum, Washington Highland, back down Marionberry Avenue. And I have a lot of greenery in the parks area on Marionberry Avenue also included in my small member district. Did you? I'll continue on. Okay. So as I mentioned, I'm also running on an all-woman slate with Robin McKinney, Miller White, Renee Moore, and Marquita Bryant. And the reason I decided to take this position with these powerful voices is because I believe inclusively that there's a singular expression and one vision for Ward 8 to move forward. My position is 3 challenges, and that's creating successful neighborhoods, increasing access to education and employment, connecting the whole ward. These challenges include action steps and components, and my focus will be where we are today, where we hope to be tomorrow, and getting there. Getting there is particularly important because it provides an overarching direction for the action plan and the revision that we'll all be collectively working on, because the legal power of the comprehensive plan guide is the land use. So it will become one of the most important tools for translating our vision into reality. And so I'm elated, and I want to give a special thank you to you, Troy, because this is a whole part of, what the Ward 8 Dems represent when it comes to making creating successful neighborhoods.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Freya. And also, I should note that when I was a commissioner, you were one of my constituents. And so I am just peacock proud to see that one of the constituents is running for the seat. So congrats to you for that, at least, and good luck on Election Day.
Thank you.
Next on my list is Robin McKinney. Robin McKinney, you're live. Okay, you're muted.
Hello. Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Commissioner Robin McKinney, and I am the AUC Commissioner for Single Member District 8806 in the historic Anacostia. I want to touch some key pointers. As Commissioner Freya said, that we're running an all-Black women slate this year. And we're increasing the food access, what I have done in the previous time. I have been here serving as a 2-term commissioner in the historic preservation of the historic Anacostia and a harm reduction act that we're pushing through for the infrastructure in the historic Anacostia. I am the face of Anacostia, and I believe in diversity, and I believe as a community coming together as a whole. All voices need to be heard. They need to be understood under the historic Anacostia. We know that we're moving forward. I am the gateway. I have held the keys to the city, and we're pushing and moving our community forward. And the strategy is a partnership with the council members and local organizations to enhance street safety, infrastructure, and to keep the taxes low on home ownership, and to create equity and generational wealth amongst the Black and brown urban community, and to make sure that all incomes are welcome. And we want to make sure we have market rate income housing as well as affordable housing in our community. And together we can build and change and make sure that we can stay inclusive in the historic Anacostia and bring the culture into DC Go-Go and to keep everything alive. Thank you so much again. I am your commissioner for 8806 in the historic Anacostia.
Thank you, Commissioner McKinney. And good luck to you on Election Day. All right, next on my list here is Jamila White. And then after her, I have Renee Moore. Jamila going once. All right, Jamila, I see you're on, but we're not hearing or seeing you.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Are you unable to show video?
I'm on video. Can you see me?
No, I don't see you at all.
Okay, can you go to someone else and I log back in? I'm doing my mutual aid grocery delivery, so I'm pulled over at
Okay, you just popped up.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you and we can see you.
Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. Good morning good afternoon to you all. Happy Howard University homecoming. I
Hey,
am
Chu.
Jamila. I'll give it to you today.
Thank you.
I'm Jamila White. I am the chair of ANCAA, and I am running for re-election for a third term for 8A05. I'm so proud of the work that our commission has done. Some of our highlights and accomplishments over the last 2 years have been getting Mayor Bowles' administration to invest in Ward 8. Mayor Bowles, our ANC is the only ANC east of the river that brought the mayor to our community for all a government walk at the beginning of her 2023 term. That was followed up by a meeting in her office at the Wilson Building to talk about how she's advancing on those issues. We are the only ANC in the entire District of Columbia that's had a private audience with Mayor Bowser to stress the solutions. We gather over 100 solutions from our community and put them into a 5-page manifesto that we gave to the mayor, every single council member, and every deputy mayor, which we've been holding them accountable for. For the next 2 years, my main 2 goals are focusing on a $100 million small area plan for Anacosia's development so we can flourish into the arts, culture, and innovation district that we deserve. I'm also going to be spending a lot of time helping tenants to organize. Our power is in our tenants. We are 70% tenants, and we have to get people engaged. You all probably know me from the community. I've been out. I'm a trusted leader on several boards, and I've been a Ward 8 Democrat member since I moved to Ward 8 8 years ago. My father moved to DC in 1990, and I've been proud to be in this city. And I just appreciate you all's support. And I just want to address Tom Donahue's lies too, if
I'm
that's
sorry.
okay.
We're out of town. We're out of
Okay,
time.
just remember the devil is a liar, and so you got to remember to stay strong. And so you can check the facts for me if you want, and you can actually see what the Board of Elections said and how every time Tom has challenged us, I have won in all of his challenges. So be blessed, stay blessed,
Thank you.
and I look forward to your vote.
Thank you so much, Commissioner White, for being here, and good luck to you on November 5th. We are joined by, let me just change that too. All right, we are joined by Representative Oye Awolowo, who is a Ward 8 resident and who is running for re-election as our shadow U.S. representative. And I know everyone is all over the place today. You got folks in Pennsylvania. We have folks doing homecoming events, people delivering food. I'm on travel, but this was just so important to do. And so I just want to recognize that our representative is here and to give him a moment to speak. Welcome back to the Ward 8 Democrats. You of course, you're no stranger to us here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Chairman Presswood, for bringing us all together. I know there was a lot of things going on today, but the fact that we're having this conversation about voting, having a conversation about being a Ward 8 Democrat and keeping our conversations with us is really important to me. My name is Dr. Oye Awolowo. I'm the U.S. Representative of Washington, D.C., former ANC commissioner. So shout out to all the candidates and all the current commissioners on call. And I just want to talk about my role and why it's important for us to have a Ward 8 resident in this role. My name is Dr. Oye Awolowo. I'm the U.S. Representative of Washington, D.C., and our fight for D.C. statehood is championed by this office. We have gone to different states introducing D.C. statehood resolutions. We have increased co-sponsors in the Congress and the Senate to support D.C. statehood. And very soon, we'll be creating a D.C. statehood caucus led by our Congresswoman Norton on the Hill starting in January, hopefully. And the reason why statehood is so important is because it not only guarantees us that vote in Congress and our legislation, but also allows us to have more control over our rights. We're able to pass our laws without congressional interference. We're able to control our budgets in a meaningful way. And last but not least, we're able to live the same lives that folks in Maryland and Virginia has. One thing I want to talk about, especially being Ward 8, is the intentionality of doing things that improve the quality of life here in Ward 8. We launched the Expungement Clinic, which helped returning citizens learn how to clear their records and get second chance employment opportunities. We have done programs like Capital Business Seminar, where we teach business owners how to get contracts, grants, and certifications. And these aren't just Ward 8 issues, but we want to make sure that these programs were happening in Southeast, make sure folks have programs that connect to themselves, close to them. So, but the most important thing I want to talk about right now, there's an election in less than 3 weeks. And it's very important for us to vote. It's very important for us to get engaged. It's very important for us to think selfishly about how things impact Ward 8. You know, we always hear about things happening around the city. We want to make sure we're engaged as well. So whether it's going to the council to testify, whether it's going to Congress to talk about statehood, whether it's engaging our fellow neighbors about what's going on, just making sure that we are represented, and civic engagement isn't just a one-time thing on election day, that it's all over. So I want to thank you all for being here. Please pour into the Ward 8 Democrats, whether it's donating, whether it's going on motorcades, whether it's knocking on doors, because this is the voice of our party in our ward. Whether you're in Navy Yard, whether you're in the Highlands, whether you're in Congress Heights, whether you're in Anacostia, the work that we do in our communities is what's going to allow us to have a higher vote count. It's going to allow us to have more representation when it comes to talking about issues, making sure that the mayor comes to our communities and treats us the same way as our friends in Ward 3 and Ward 2 and Ward 4 are being treated. The way we're going to be able to address housing insecurities, food insecurities, these conversations don't just happen by legislation, happens by communication. So again, I want to thank you, Chairman Presswood, for all the work that you've done to galvanize, whether it's ANC level or now as the president of the Ward 8 Democrats, because without your leadership and people like you, we wouldn't be able to have these conversations and advance our ward in every which way. So thank you again. Oh yeah, vote for me in a couple of weeks. I'm running for re-election for U.S. representative, and I'll put my information in the chat line again. And again, congratulations to everyone being here, and good luck in your races in a few weeks.
Well, thank you so much, Representative. We can always count on you to come and bring a encouraging message to you know, those who want to move up and represent the community. As someone who has done that as ANC commissioner and now citywide as our U.S. rep, we could not be more proud of the work that you do and what you represent from those of us here in Ward 8. So thank you for being here. I know you're busy. I know you have to get back to another event, but thank you for hopping on our Zoom.
Always, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, getting back to our commissioners here, I want to bring on our next speaker. It is Renee Moore. I should note that Renee is a write-in candidate. She's not appearing on your ballot, but she is a write-in candidate, someone who's already declared with the DC Board of Elections. Renee, welcome. Tell us the area that you are running to represent, and you know, give us a sense of that community, and then also your message.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Presswood. My name is Renee Moore. I'm running in 8A01 that runs from Nicholson Street down to Fairlawn up to 16th, and then the west side of Minnesota Avenue back down to Nicholson Street. I grew up right there in Fairlawn in the 80s. I'm a native Washingtonian, and back then it was a very close-knit, very supportive community. I stayed local and went to college at the University of District of Columbia, and I majored in chemistry. And what I learned there was how small changes can create big reactions, whether that's in a lab or in a neighborhood. I currently work for DC government. Excuse me. My goal is to use my experiences to strengthen Fairlawn and connect residents with resources, excuse me, and create positive change. And just like in chemistry, I believe with the right mix, we can make our neighborhood thrive. As just a resident of Fairlawn, there's several things that I've been doing. I do food rescues from restaurants and bakeries around the city and deliver them to social service agencies here in Ward 8. I've helped clean up the alleys in the back with the help of DPW and the MOCRs in Ward 8. I often talk to neighbors, and a lot of neighbors don't know how to use 311. And so I put in a lot of 311 requests for neighbors. And I've helped some neighbors in the area with their vouchers to find places to live. And so if you elect me as your ANC commissioner, I want to work to ensure that our voices in Fairlawn are heard, that our neighborhood gets the resources and attention it deserves, and that we can make changes to make safer streets, to have better access to services, and a stronger community overall. So when it comes time to vote, you want someone in your corner. You want someone who loves Fairlawn as much as you do. someone who'll stand up for you and will work to get you the results you want. That person's me. I'm Renee Moore. I'm a write-in candidate for 8A01. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Renee Moore, and good luck to you on Election Day, November 5th.
Thank you.
I now want to bring up Scott Dash. I think I'm saying that last name correctly. Scott, welcome to the Ward 8 Democrats. Tell us the community that you are running to represent. Give us a sense of the neighborhood there, and you have 1 minute.
Great. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you, Chairman Presswood and the Ward 8 Democrats for hosting this. My name's Scott Thatch. I'm running for ANC in 8A06, and that's the area from about Marion Berry Avenue over to Howard Road, and then all the way down from the waterfront up to 14th Street, and it goes up to West and High Street, kind of over on the side by Howard. So it's a big single member district that includes the commercial corridor, historic Anacostia, and the surrounding neighborhoods. My background is as an educator working with children with learning differences, a kids book writer, a nonprofit leader focused on energy equity issues, and I'm also an 8-year Anacostia resident and a lifelong Democrat. I live in a diverse district. I've talked with newer residents and with folks that have been here for over 50 years, and with couples starting their families and families who've lived here for generations. And I've really been struck by how much we have in common when it comes to what we love about this community and what we want for it. We want safer, cleaner streets. We want open spaces where neighbors, young and old, can gather together. We want to turn vacant properties into homes and businesses, thriving businesses. We want to support those businesses to support our schools and our seniors. And we want a grocery store, one that meets everyone's needs and is accessible to everybody. So again, my name is Scott Thatch. I hope you'll support my campaign on November 5th. And above all, vote. And thank you all. I tried to honor that 60-second rule, Troy.
You did excellent there. Thank you. Thank you so much. And good luck to you as well. November 5th. All right, and rounding out our ANC commissioners is Alyssa D'Souza.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Give us a sense of the community that you're running to represent, and you have a minute.
Perfect. My name is Alyssa D'Souza. I'm here in 8F02 in Navy Yard. It's around the ballpark, a little bit down half, everywhere from down to the Harris Teeter, down by the water. I'm a committed advocate for public safety and prioritizing public safety here in 8F02. I'm a 17-year law enforcement officer. I worked in wards 7 and 8. So I have a deep understanding of the challenges that we face. Ensuring safety is not just for the community, but it's been my passion, obviously, for the past 17 years. My experience in law enforcement has exposed me to a wide range of issues, including those with substance abuse, mental health issues, and those that need assistance in housing, education, and employment. So this has deepened my understanding of the barriers that some of the residents here face in Navy Yard. And hopefully taking that back to become an advocate for the community and hoping to drive positive change. I'm a 3-time homeowner here in Washington, D.C., one of which I own a condo here in Navy Yard. So when I moved here, there was all these issues that people brought to me. So that's why I'm here. I'm trying to make those changes. And those include, parking concerns and the impact that the games have on parking for residents and their guests. Everything down to boardwalk safety, motorized vehicles being on the boardwalk and, harming dogs or residents that are just walking by. And then tackling some noise issues. There's a lot of bars in this area and delivery trucks that are constantly blocking alleyways and obstructing roadways and alleys, and promoting bike lane safety. There's always people taking the metro here and, constantly on foot running around. So if elected as your ANC commissioner for 8F02, I will actively engage to address these concerns and just hoping to be the voice for the residents and address concerns ongoing that everyone has. So thank you.
Thank you. And it's Alyssa
Elisa.
Elisa D'Souza. Okay,
Yep.
we had a council member with that same spelling, but Alyssa. So
Yes.
I apologize.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, and
Thank
good
you
luck
very
on
much.
your election.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I think that's all of our ANC commissioner candidates that are here today. If there are other candidates, if you are interested in speaking, and I did not get a chance to elevate you, please hop on and do that at this time. Okay. I do want to acknowledge that one of our council members who's running in the at-large race is here. He is in Pennsylvania. And so we are so happy that that Councilmember Robert White is able to hop on our call. You're muted right now, but Councilmember, go ahead and unmute yourself. Tell us where you're at, what you're doing, and of course, make that pitch for votes here in Ward 8.
Thank you, Troy, and to the Ward 8 Dems. I'm at-large Councilmember Robert White. I'm in York, Pennsylvania. No, we can keep going. Knocking on doors in a swing district, trying to make sure we land this plane for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. Sorry about the background noise. I want to make sure I'm doing my part because on election day, we can't go back and undo anything or redo anything. So I want to make sure I'm doing my part. I do have some volunteers on Doors in DC today. We'll be back on Doors in DC tomorrow, but I'm also working on my re-election campaign and asking for your vote and support. My team and I have really been moving these past 2 terms, including taking on reproductive rights, getting more protections for women and abortion providers. We restored voting rights for incarcerated people, making DC the only jurisdiction in the nation to undo this legacy of Jim Crow. We are right now fully reforming DC public housing. We are working to expand vocational education for our young people, get mentors for our young people so we can reduce violence permanently. So I'm asking for your support. I am the Democratic nominee in the at-large race. Sorry about that. And we need your support because there is still a kink in public financing. So when you have to spend money on a competitive primary, that often means that you will not get any more matching funds in the general election. So I will be outraised by non-Democrats in the general. So if you're able to help us out by donating, knocking on doors, making calls for us, please let us know. You can go to reelectrobertwhite.com for more information there. And I appreciate you all being flexible as we sort of move around Pennsylvania in these last few weeks of the last few weeks of my race.
Well, thank you so much, Councilmember. We may have actually lost your signal there, but we know that you're doing important work there in Pennsylvania. We thank you for hopping on. I know it was a game day decision if you were going to be able to get on or not. We certainly thank you for doing so. And we've already told voters here in Ward 8 to vote the Democrat in the at-large race, and you just brought it home as to why we should do that. So thank you again for being here.
Thank you very much. And if you don't mind me just plugging on election night, we're going to be at the Busboys and Poets in Ward 5. We wanted to make sure we did something that's family friendly, community friendly, senior friendly. But we'll have a Kamala Harris photo booth. We'll have music. It'll be a great time. I remember where I was in 2008 when Barack Obama won. I want to make sure I'm with some people I know and love when we see the first Black woman president elected. So on election night, if you all want to join, we'll be at the Busboys and Poets in Ward 5 in Brookland.
Got it. Thank you for that plug. And we're also having a watch night party as well in Ward 8 at the Busboys and Poets, but there's no reason why people can't move around the district and to celebrate you as well. So thank you again, Councilmember White, for being here. I do want to bring up our at-large candidate for DC State Board of Education, Jacques Patterson, is with us as well. Jacques, I think you're able to unmute and start your video.
I can't start video. It unmuted me, but I can't start video. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
There
How
you
are
go.
You guys? How you guys doing and everything like that?
All right.
I'm
We're
here,
good.
out campaigning currently right now, but I'm Jacques Patterson, a proud Ward 8 resident for over 30 years at this particular point. I came here to the District of Columbia, stationed at Andrews Air Force Base as a single father. And my first election, so I want to shout out all the ANCs because my first thing that I ever got to do was to be an ANC. I got elected to ANC 8B. I served 5 terms. Of those 5 terms, I was chair of 8B, 3 of those terms. And I just appreciate everybody who is running currently for ANC for the simple fact that I know the power of what can happen as an ANC. When I arrived in my particular commission, there was no ARC. There was no Green Line that came all the way out. There was no Giant on Alabama and Stanton. None of those things were there. We had not done any redevelopment of what now is Henson Ridge. That was Stanton Douglas at that particular time. And we did a lot of great things. So I remember and can recall just what the power of a commission and an ANC can do. And so those are some of the things that I got to be part of when I was an ANC and chairing 8B. So now I am running for re-election to the State Board of Education. I wanted people to understand what exactly we do on the State Board of Education. We are an advisory board. We had a lot of our power stripped back in 2007, but we are the bully pulpit for your voice to bring things and elevate your voice about educational issues as a whole. I think it's more important than anything else that we have representatives from Ward 8, not just our Ward 8 representative, who we will be hoping to have LaJoy Johnson Law soon. And we also have a wonderful student that's from Thurgood Marshall, who is a student representative, Mr. Barnes, Representative Barnes. But I think we also need to have an at-large member, so that would make us have the most representatives on the State Board of Education if I'm reelected. But we do some incredible things. This past term, I'm happy to say that we did financial literacy. We did new social studies standards, which had not been done in 17 years. We have the most inclusive social studies standards where every child can be affirmed of who they are and see themselves in social studies. So it's just really powerful. We also did social emotional standards because we know we came back from the pandemic different. Our children came back different. Our parents had a very interesting perspective. So those are some of the things that we've done. I'm looking forward to returning back because safety is still a concern for all of our children. I work at a school during the day. I know that it's tough for kids to get back and forth to school. I know there's a lot of violence out there. So I want to continue to make sure that our children can traverse back and forth to school each and every day. And I just want to make sure that we're elevating about equity in funding, about resources, not just per pupil funding, but the resources that schools need, particularly east of the river and in my home ward of Ward 8. So I'm running for re-election. It is important that we show that Ward 8 votes. That is one of the biggest things that I want to come back here for. As Troy knows, I served as president of the Ward 8 Dem, so I understand his job of getting us out, getting our numbers up, and making sure that we show the force of our voice and our vote. So I want to make sure that everybody gets out and vote for whomever you are voting for all the dynamic ANCs that are running currently. Make sure you make your voice known and make sure that we show that Ward 8 votes. It's very important. I hear so many conversations that disregards Ward 8 because they say we don't vote. So I'm here to say, I want your vote, but it's more importantly that you do vote. So thank you, Troy, for allowing me, Mr. President, to come on for a quick minute to ask for the vote of my residents, my home ward. Again, Jacques Patterson, at-large State Board of Representative, running for re-election. Thank you so much, Troy.
Well, thank you, Representative Patterson. And yes, you certainly have set a standard here at the Ward 8 Democrats. I'm certainly standing on your shoulders and all the work that you and my predecessors have done over the years, and we're just trying to keep that going by engaging our Ward 8 voters. And so thank you. And again, we're asking people to support the Democrats up and down the ballot. As I mentioned earlier, our state Board of Education seats are technically nonpartisan, but there are Democrats running for those seats. And so again, our message is to support the Democrat. And so thank you so much, Mr. Patterson, and best of luck on November 5th. Okay, I do want to acknowledge that Councilmember Trayon White is here as well. He is at the Ballou High School homecoming, but he, so it's a little loud there and he's unable to really speak, but he wants to let you all know that he's here and that he is on the call. And that if you have any questions for him or for his team, their office is up and running. As you well know, we've talked about that, and of course others have as well, that the office is fully operational. The council member is fully operational as well. And so if you have questions for him, you can certainly reach him via email at twhite@dccouncil.gov. Again, that's twhite@dccouncil.gov. And of course, the entire office is open as well for constituent services. And so we want to thank you. Again, we're asking everyone to support the Democrats up and down the ballot. And so before we close out, and we are nearing the end of our conversation today, I just want to go back to our slides here just to make sure that we leave no stone unturned. First and foremost, we want you to vote for the Democrat up and down the ballot, as I just said. The last day to vote is Tuesday, November 5th, but early voting is happening right now as we speak. And so there really is no excuse to not use your mail-in ballot that was sent to all of us who are registered in the District of Columbia in Ward 8 to vote. You can take your completed ballot to any drop box. You can also take it to a mailbox. You can wave down your mail carrier and say, hey, this is my ballot. I need you to make sure it gets to the DC Board of Elections. Don't forget, though, if you're using the mail-in ballot, sign the back of it. Follow those instructions. Sign the back of the ballot so that it's valid. And also consider registering for the ballot tracking feature. I use that because I want to know when my ballot's been touched. I want to know when it's been picked up. I want to know when it's been processed. And you will get notifications in email, I think even text messages. I can't recall which one, but I know for certain it's email to let you know that your ballot's been picked up from a drop box or that's been received from the U.S. Postal Service. We really are leading the country in the type of voting technology and accessibility. You should be very proud of the work that we do here with our DC Board of Elections. With that being said, though, if we don't use these features, as they will get more expensive, and then they will say, well, we may need to cut here or cut there. So use them so that we don't lose them. Use them so we don't lose them. All right. All right. So here are the people who are Democrats on your ballot. Vote for each of them. Vote yes for each of them on the ballot. We want you to vote no on Initiative 83. We do not believe this is good for DC. We do not believe it's good for Ward 8. And we don't believe it's good for our seniors. So we want you to vote no on Initiative 83. Here are your Ward 8 Dropbox locations. Screenshot them right now so you'll have them. And that way you know where you can go or where you can maybe help a senior or someone who has a disability be able to drop off their Dropbox, their mail-in ballot. They can take it to any of these locations. They're open right now, 24 hours a day. They picked up every night at 8 o'clock. And the last night that the drop boxes will be open is on Tuesday, November 5th. Early vote centers open up on Monday, October 28th. Take advantage of these locations. If you need to go in person to drop off your ballot, or if you want to go in person to vote, maybe you have questions, maybe you need to register to vote. This is when you can do that. You can register in person at these early vote centers. They open again on Monday, October 28th, and they close Sunday, November 3rd. The operational hours are 8:30 a.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. Screenshot those so you know where they're at. And then while I am anticipating that most of us will get our vote in early, we're going to bank those votes here in Ward 8 so that we can go out and help other people vote, because we know that, it's not enough for just us. We got to help others do it. So for those who must vote on Election Day, here are those locations. Screenshot them so you have them. On Election Day, the vote centers will be open from 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock a.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. Remember, you can vote at any of these locations. You don't have to live in that neighborhood. They will give you your ballot. And these are just the ones in Ward 8. There are 100 vote centers that will be open on Election Day that you can go. Perhaps there's one closer to your school or to where you work or where you're dropping off someone. It doesn't matter where you go. Just go in with your name and information, and they will give you your ballot, and it will count. Here is a screen grab of the ballot for Ward 8. Keep in mind that the ballot is two-sided, so you must vote not just on the first side or the front side, but there is a back side of it as well. That's where you'll find very important races like Advisory Neighborhood Commission, which is what we talked about here today. And then, of course, the Initiative 83 that we are not in support of. We want you to vote no on Initiative 83. That information is on the back. Do not leave any of these spaces blank. It's so important that you choose the Democrat and that you vote no on Initiative 83. If you want to ride the bus with us, we have some buses leaving tomorrow. Buses already left today. We have buses leaving tomorrow, buses leaving next weekend, and the weekend after that. That's the final weekend. If you want to get on the bus with us to go up to Pennsylvania, you just heard from Councilmember Robert White. He is, even though he's running in a re-election here in DC, he's up in Pennsylvania fighting for Kamala and Tim Walz. They are trying to get, those undecided voters, those voters who still got questions about who they want to support. I can't imagine why. I mean, one person literally wants to destroy our democracy. The other is running to keep it. Just on that alone, it's a no-brainer. But for those who want to help us reach out to our friends up in Pennsylvania, we've teamed up with our neighbors in Ward 7, as well as DFER and the DC Democratic Party and the Harris Walz campaign to send buses up to Pennsylvania. Again, buses leave tomorrow, leave next weekend, and the weekend after that. If you want to get on the bus with us, go to our website where you can see links to how you can sign up right now. And maybe you want to stay a little closer to home. Angela Also Brooks is a Democrat running for U.S. Senate. She is in a very tight race against the very popular, twice elected Republican governor of Maryland. When I talk to many people, especially in Prince George's County, they tell us how much they love Larry Hogan. Larry Hogan may be a good guy, but is he the right guy for the Senate at this time? We think not. So if you want to help elect Angela Also Brooks to the U.S. Senate, this is your opportunity to do so. You should reach out to the links. Again, we have links on our website where you can sign up and go out to those campaign offices. You can make phone calls. You can do text banking. You can knock on doors with our county executive over there, Angela Also Brooks, who was, by the way, born here in Washington, D.C. and moved out into the county. And she's made a good name for herself out there, but she needs our help. And that's me right there. So I'm doing my part too. And then we're looking for you. So many ways to get involved with us. Send us an email at info@ward8dems.com. And that's it. That's it. I hope that you've learned something here today. Please share this video once it's live and active. We're going to also help promote it as well because we think there's some very good information in it. Share it with your friends, share it with your neighbors, especially if they live here in Ward 8 or anywhere in the District of Columbia. It is very important that we get out the vote and that we not leave anything to chance. Before I close out, I want to just make sure that there are no announcements from the community before we close out for good. And I want to also acknowledge that our Councilmember Robert Trayon White, Ward 8 Councilmember Trayon White also says, welcome to our commissioners and potential commissioners. Anything else for the good of the order? If so, raise your hand. Okay, yeah, so once again, all of the information about where to vote, where to register is on our website, but I think I may have access to the links really quickly if you want to hold on just a second here. Let's see, Saturday. For Saturday, and we have for Sunday. And again, all this information is at our website, ward8dems.com. So if you don't get these links or if you can't see them, you can certainly go to our website there. All right, and then we do have a very special election website that we always activate around this time. It's called Ward 8 Votes. You can go there and see close up of all of the screenshots I showed you earlier about where to vote in our ward. You can also see that ballot, play around with it, download it if you like, have your kids play with it. What a great way to get them ready for election when it's their time to look at what you're looking at, right? And that's how we teach the babies. So check us out there on ward8dems.com/Ward 8 Votes. Okay, mark your calendars. Our next meeting is going to be in November. Details will be announced soon. Until then, stay engaged, stay informed, and remember that your voice shapes the future of Ward 8 as we depart. I did have a quick video I wanted to play. I don't know if it's going to play though. Let's see if it will play. Let's see. Microphone. Select the microphone. Oh, maybe it'll play. All right, let's see here. See if it'll do it. If not, then gotta listen to it online. But it's just a quick reminder about what's at stake and why it's important to vote in our election. So let's see if we can get this video to play. Let's see. Wait, I think I got a speaker has to be built-in mic. Microphone. I don't know. I think I'm having some bad luck here. Let's see. Microphone. Sorry, guys. I don't want to be able to get it played because it's airing through my